Hi guys, how are you? How is everybody? Right, so I thought, right, it was only fair we do the heart and soul of Jim. I done about his passing. We've had some real shocking findings from the tarot and the oracle cards, but I was infatuated by Jim. Like I said in the previous video, and I'm quite enjoying this spread. So I thought we will touch on about the heart and soul of Jim. Let's see if we can get into the deeper side of Jim and what he stands for, what was his values. Maybe there was some dark side of Jim, which did come out when he was, he had a few to drink and stuff. But I want to sort of like dive in deep with the tarot and oracle cards and see where this takes us. So if you want to come along, then that would be great. I will timestamp everything, so I'll timestamp it in sections, so you can always go back to it at a later date if you so wish. Anyway, we'll get on with the reading. So, for anyone who doesn't know who Jim was, he he was a member of the band. He was the lead singer of the band, The Doors, which are an amazing band. I think they are amazing anyway. And yeah, so if you don't know who he is, right, and we're going to go into the heart of Jim, the soul essence. We better knock on the deck. So let's have a look. I'm using the same cards as previously before. So what was the heart and soul of Jim? What was the heart and soul of Jim? So we're going to pull 3 cards and see what it comes up with. 9 of Wands. Okay. 6 of Wands. The Empress card. Okay. Interesting. So in the with the 9 of Wands, I would see he tend to hold himself back a lot. He was very much in his shell, as you can see. Okay, although although he was very observant, he was very aware of his surroundings. Okay, this guy comes across quite smart, but he kept things close to his heart. He didn't really share with many people actually what was going on within. Okay, so if he had like a deep intelligent conversation with you or an emotional thing, I would say that Jim would have trusted you. He would have acknowledged. He would have seen you. That's the impression I've got with the 9 of Wands. 9 of Wands can come across defensive, so sometimes he would react by his emotions and how he was feeling, which is quite normal for us to do anyway. So I would say that's quite a normal reaction for humans anyway, right? 6 of Wands is like he look he when he seen value in things or when he held value to it, he would give it his all. So he would want to so he was I would say Jim was quite a passionate romantic. He was very romantic and very passionate, right? In the with the Empress card and that he would want to, you know he wouldn't want to dive in, but he wouldn't want to share it completely to the world. He wouldn't want to share it fully until he grasped it himself. Okay, so very good expressions, very, expressions. So you look at it, this is the cocoon stage, and he would open up very much intensely, and he would be very in touch with his femininity side as well. Okay, so I feel like he had very sensitive side to him, um, that's the impression I'm getting with the cards. So what outside so what outside influences? What influenced him? What's the outside influences that influenced Jim? Three of Wands. Wow, okay. Right, Three of Wands. He was always looking for the next thing. He was always like, so I feel Jim was very much of a venturer. He wanted to once he got a grip of things, he wanted to go for it and express it, okay? And it didn't matter who got in his way either. So I think influency, he could be quite deceptional. He could come across deceptional or defiant and that, but it was more because he was passionate about his work. So he may find like outside influences hitting back at him, or trying to hold him back. That's how the impression I've got here, especially with the Seven of Wands here as well. So it's like I think sometimes Jin feel like outside influences held him back a bit, and he felt sometimes trapped. That's the impression I got from other people and other aspects. Okay, he was almost like a scientist. He liked to get into the nitty gritty of things. Okay, so he was very good with his words. He was he could be very cunning, and he could be. To me, I get the impression he could be very sharp tongued if he wanted to be, especially with the Seven of Swords here. Yeah. So the outside influences, I think it depended on um, how you approached Jim to how he would respond and react to you. So, you could get this defiant person, child, or you could get someone who would be willing to explore with you. So there was a subtle way of an approach. I'm getting the band member who played on the piano or whatever it was, the thing. I'm getting a vision of him, Ray, I think his name was. Ray. So I'm getting that. I feel Ray had an understanding of him. Um and I do feel Ray had a like did influence Jim in a positive way. Okay, even though there was a little bit of backlash at times with Jim, I feel Jim was very would listen to him, but would treat him like a father figure. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but that's the impression I'm getting. I'm kind of seeing that, if he would have deep conversations with this Ray. He seemed to feel quite where he could like get creative with it. I'm not saying he didn't with the other band members, but I feel like there was times when Jim would be defiant with it and become problematic. So I think it depends on the way you approached him to how he would react and respond to you. That's the impression I'm getting there. It looks like we're doing a short version here because I can't find my notes. I've lost my notes, so I don't know what's happened to the spread that I did with Amy and that. It's gone, but that's okay. We'll just go with it. Okay. So yeah, that's the impression I got with like the Ray and that. I just feel like he would. I just seen the picture of Ray, and I feel he felt. I don't know where this is coming from, but I'm just firing out what I'm seeing in my vision. I've got to go with it, guys. Got to go with it. That's the impression I got. You think of a spider; he's they're quite creative, but you've got that other side here. So I think he could be quite influenced to the way you would respond to him. He would retaliate back. The Seven of Wands, that's like pushing back. It to me, that's like pushing back. But let's look at. I have got the. Where are they? Just to sort of remind me. Seven of Cups. Yeah. If I want the Seven of Cups, I want the Seven of Wands, Seven of Wands, Two of Wands, Seven of Wands. Challenge, pressure, and threatens. There you go. If people are trying to tear you down, stand firm in what you believe. The unfortunate side of success is that not everyone is cheering you on, and this can this can take time to adjust to. So we got like outside influences with that as well. So he, so that's the impression I got. I do believe Jim was very smart, um, and he would play. He would have you in trumps if he feel like you were being deceptive or like lying to him in some way. He wasn't. He would have things, but also this could like outside influences, if we think of it, is that there was some deceptional people around Jim at the time, when the doors and stuff was coming into play, and I do feel like they holded Jim back in some respects, although it didn't appear that when he was on in concerts and stuff. He kind of fought back a little bit, didn't he? Um, but there you go. All right, I have got like a. It's gonna be a bit. It's gonna. So yeah, he was quite influenced with that. I think we're gonna do a short version of this. So outside influence we've done. The demons that they had. So when I say demons, what held Jim back? What held Jim back from it? I'm a bit annoyed about my notes. I think he had some kind of insecurities about him. So even though I think he was too smart for his own good sometimes, but he had a level of insecurity as well, which would represent with the cocoon here. So he sometimes find things challenging at times, yeah, which held him back. Um, you wouldn't believe it, but when you see him on stage and that, but it's almost like he needed Dutch courage. Um, Also, we've got the devil card. So think of the devil card as like temptations, drug use, so those things kind of maybe give him the courage. So I don't think he took it out of willy nilly. He took it to sort of have like have kind of some control in his life, okay? Where he felt that he couldn't provide, he couldn't manage, because we've got the Five of Pentacles. It's not like not feeling enough. So there was some self worth and confidence that Jim lacked, that kind of like put those challenges as well and reflected those challenges. So we're gonna look into like one of the decks I've got. I don't know what's happening. Oh, I'm so annoyed with this, but we're gonna carry on. think it's just going to be a short one, guys. So yeah, blinded by pain. There was some internal, there was some internal stuff, going on, within him, that he was affected on an emotional level, here, um, that he tried to hide away from. That's I feel when I look at that card, I'm sort of like seeing like someone trying to trying to ignore their feelings and stuff. So the steps that he took, with his like that haunted him, he kind of tried to black it out, which is quite common. I used to do exactly the same with drinking and stuff. So I can sort of relate to that. It can devour you. It's like a false sense of security in it. There. So have a look at 16. So 8, 10, 12, 15, 16. The world is unfair. Fuck off, dear world. Fuck you. So again, there's that retaliation, isn't it? It's like, I think he said that on stage a few times, didn't he? Or something on the similar aspects. Um, but it comes with, I think it come with frustration with him, So these battles, I sort of laugh, but because of that bad boy image, the bad boy image and that. But there's that other element of sensitivity with Jim that he struggled with. And that was because of the lack of confidence he had in himself, and the value he had around him. Okay. So he was binded by the pain. He felt trapped sometimes, I would say. I can shoulder it and it's not a big deal, isn't it? So there was two sides of Jim, and but both were in a lot of pain. I would say emotional pain, emotional turmoil, at times. And he tried to hide that. He tried to hide that or black it out. Black it out. Try not to draw attention to it, but his responses and his reactions and his outbursts, that's what was coming into play. So the more it was affecting, he felt affected by his emotions, the more he would go OTT on things. Okay, so but at the time no one knew, he didn't really express how he was feeling. So I think Jim struggled with the confidence and that, and he found other substances to help him get through it, but it didn't resolve anything by it, and that's where the struggles within has happened. So next one. Their passions and what they were trying to create. Their passions and what they were trying to create. Four cups. they got they got bored quite easily. So I think they were trying to find, there was, I don't know, I think they were trying to find a balance in their life. I think they struggled a lot with balance. They were always looking for the next thing. Like it's like you got like when you're having alcohol in it, you drink one glass of wine and it helps you feel relaxed. But then the next week you drink two glasses of wine because you're not getting the same buzz. And I think that's what it was for Jim. He was always looking for the next buzz, looking for the next, because he would get bored. So I wonder if that was another part of his outburst. It's like, this just, this just because I'm bored here. I'm just like, look, balance. As they got the balance card. So yeah, trying to balance things out. He was, so yeah, talking very much. It feels like he's talking very much about his out of balance, where he felt completely out of balance, and sometimes when he was out of control, it was down to personal stuff that was going on within him, that he was struggling with. Okay, um, I do feel that Jim struggled with the fame side, and I can't say I blame him because it's a lot of pressure and being in front of loads of people, like I've said about Amy and that. It's like that must have been so, like, kind of buzzy, but like overwhelming, too. So, but it got tedious. So it's kind of like similar vibe to Amy. It got a bit tedious. It got a bit like same mundane thing. It wasn't getting the same effects like it was. It was becoming too much of a burden at times. That's how I feel inside. So the passions they were trying to take is trying to get more of a balance in their lifestyle, balance in their music, balance in their life style and how they lived. Um, so we're talking, this is where that is coming in there. So how is in relations with family? So family members, he did deny his family, saying that they were dead. So see what the cards have got to say about his family. Two of Pentacles, the World, Eight of Swords. He struggled. He struggled with with his with his family, and it's almost like he felt trapped in having to be someone he wasn't. Um, so it's almost like he broke the cycle here, socially, domestically, religiously expressed. So he couldn't he couldn't be himself, around them. So I think he struggled with his family. Maybe that's why he kind of cut them off. So say revolution. He wanted to be free. Look, rebel. He wanted to be free, free from that field. Okay, romantically. So let's have a look romantically. And also, here is almost like he rebelled against them. So he was quite rebellious. And maybe that's why he would, like, if people said no to him or challenged him or tried to tell him what to do, that's when he become more awkward and stuff, because it was bringing up childhood stuff. Um, Nine of Pentacles, very independent, very reserved as a lover. Um, but very intented, contented in his relationships. there's not much cups sides. See the shadow side of like his love affairs that he had. I think people that had love affairs with him and was with him, when he was with you, he was very contented with you. It was like he would absorb your energy, but not in a negative way, but like in a positive. Have it would just make you feel like you were the world, the world to him, you know. So he had like a grounding sense with him when it comes into relationships. He would also separate himself from, so he could quite easily sever ties quite quickly in relationships as well. Um, because we've got ending. You're pretending that it's not ending, but it's time to let go and make a fresh start. So I think he played a little bit of games at times, exposed fragile heart to open in danger of heartbreak. I think he was afraid to actually let people in. I think he had that fear of letting people in. Love for Jim, how he viewed it. Leader, boss, ruler, follower. Oh, he wanted to be the leader of it, which would make sense with the king of things. Like I said, he would come in like the king. He would come in like the king. Okay, intelligent, scientific. You would have intelligent conversations. Like I said, he would absorb. It wouldn't be just. I know that he had a sexual nature, but for me, it was like he would want to have those conversations, intelligent conversations. He liked to get to know you on that current current lifetime, childhood, adulthood, gesture period. Like I said, he would be present. He would be present with you, but it'd be almost like he would cut his ties. I would imagine women would find him very confusing because he'd be like, you would get two sides of Jim, you know, kind of like a free spirit. But I would say some lovers, not just Pamela, but some lovers, the ones that he had an affairs with, he would have real deep conversation. He would have that deep. It wasn't just about sex. It wasn't just about sex. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if they didn't. When they did meet up at times, it wasn't. It was just having conversations. Yeah, that's the impression I'm getting with him. So I would say Jim was quite a contented lover. He would it wasn't a wham bam thank you ma'am. Um sorry, that's my phone. It wasn't a wham bam thank you ma'am. It was more the case of like he wanted that time, but like I said, he would quite quickly draw it to an end. So when it was time to move on, that was it. So like I said, I imagine it'd be quite confusing. So let's talk about their music, their soul and their music aspects. I'm really sorry. I've lost like Maybe that's how this is meant to happen. Because I did do a spread on him anyway. So how he's seen music. 'Cause he did do poetry too. So this, look at the music. When the music's over, King of Swords. Oh, I know he used his voice. Oh dear. Right, sorry about that. So where was I? They're so in their music. So in music. I did do that, didn't I? Because I had the King's. Oh my god, this is just like. Oh my god, it didn't matter. Right, okay, Hangman. But we'll just go with it, guys. We just go with it. It's again distracted. It's not work. It's not working. King of Swords. Okay, so there's soul in their music, right? They did use their voice with the music. They had, we know that, right? Justice. Um, I think Jim felt stuck between lines here. They were, with the justice out. There was times it was out of balance. He wanted. I don't know if I mean, I don't know if this is true. I'm just surmising because the death card is on about transformation. I feel Jim wanted to change some direction around the music or come away from it or and I know he went to Paris. I know all that, right? I'm not, so I'm not disputing that. But I don't know if he wanted the next albums that he had in lined up or was considering whether they were gonna change the dynamics a little bit. I don't know if Jim wanted to do something different that was more transforming, more using his voice for a purpose line. Don't know how true this is, guys, but it just feels like because you think of the King of Swords, the King of Swords can come across someone as a leader, someone who likes to make sure that their voice is heard, that they do the right thing. Usually, it's like a justice type of thing, legal requirements, so was he going to be political? Was he getting drawn into the political side of things? Um, I don't know, but it's coming across with the King of Swords on the Justice card as like that they're wanting a change. If it's not speaking of that, it could be that his his music was coming to legalize for him or to and it was just causing issues that he didn't want to deal with, so he was wanting to move away from that because we've got the Hanged Man here. It is changing a perspective. I gotta be honest, it is changing a perspective. So I don't know if his attitude around music was changing at that particular time, or were they like talking about making some changes with their music there. Okay, Eight of Pentacles is building something up. So I feel like although Jim took that break, um, maybe possibly if he would have continued, their music way would have been a bit different at all. Okay, you. I mean, I could be making this stuff up, but we got the Queen of Wands. So was he considering working with another female? Was there like another female in the or maybe in the background? Who knows? But I just see like that whatever the circumstances were, they were looking. It was looking to change up. Now I know the story that he wanted to do more poetry, and he did put some books out. So I know that there was that. So let's have a look in his poetry side of it all. Two of Swords. Yeah, there's that conflict with his poetry. Seven of Cups. I would say he would dabble. There was dabbling going on, but I don't feel, there was that little bit of dabbling, but I don't feel it was full in. There was not that full in. Um, he was putting small amounts of effort into his poetry. Maybe people know different. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think? So two swords is like a separation. Okay, so there's that separation. Seven of Cups is like illusions, confusions. Having that illusion aspect. And then the Knight of Cups is like an offer, but it's small. Think of a king and then think of a knight, the maturity of it. So think of it like he wasn't doing, the maturity. His music was quite mature because it was out there, it was famous, it was going really well and stuff. The band was doing really well at the time. Um, to the fact that his poetry wasn't selling so well. So there was like I'm not saying he was immature, I'm just saying like that it wasn't, it was still very naive. Like let's just say the naive, yeah. But there was some sort of small offerings or opportunities there, but it was very bare minimum. That's the impression I've got. So I don't feel Jim was really diving deep into his poetry as he was when he was thinking about the music side of it all. Although I know he wrote books and stuff. But if you know any different, please let me know. In the comments below, if you want to correct me, that's fine. So Jim's soul contracts. We know he's part of the 27 Club. Um, so what was Jim's contract here? The soul contract. Queen of Cups. Four of Pentacles. It's almost like his soul contract was to awaken something within the world. So it's like challenges that he was, you know, the Four of Pentacles is like reserved, okay? So it's almost like Jim brought a bit of curiosity to people, because we never knew what Jim was going to do in some respects. Well, I wasn't there, but and Judgment is all about like so for the music industry and as him as a famous person, for his soul contract was to bring that interest, is to sort of like get people out of their comfort zone a little bit and challenging life a little bit. I know he had like the mental state of the drugs and stuff like that. I know that's not what I'm talking about. His music is living on with the Doors. Is that because he died at such a young age? Who knows? I'm not gonna ask. So I'm not gonna ask that. That's one for one I don't want to ask. But to me, that feels like something coming to the surface. Something it's like escapism and moving up, like into the. I mean, he was very much in his mind. He was very physiological. Is it they call it physiological? So expansion of mind. So I think he is like expression to sort of like not be afraid to express. So if Jim was live today, what would he want us? What would what would Jim want us to? If Jim was live today, what message would Jim have for us? I've really touched the surface with this. Page of Swords, okay. Six of Pentacles. Jim's so his thing would say that the problems and the difficulties we face is so small compared to what we can really change and go for. We've got like the page source can be like um don't don't waste your time on idle gossip. Don't waste your time on idle videos like this. Joking. Don't waste your time on idle stuff, okay? Put the effort into what you're passionate about, what you really want to give out to the world, okay? Because that can be changeable and it can change other people's attitudes towards towards like you got the wheel of fortune. Yeah, so we're not demised by fate alone. We still can take it. We can still have a play in it. Um, that's how I feel. Two more cards, please. Chariot. Yeah. See, take the reins. Take the balls by the reins. Put the effort in. Seven of Pentacles. It's about like that saving, putting, building up, putting the effort into it. Okay. Um, that's where you'll find your sole purpose in life, your purpose in life by being actively, physically doing stuff. Don't talk about it, do it. Get your ass into gear and do it. That's what the impression I've got from that. I think I'm going to leave it at that. I know it's short and sweet. Um, I'm going to look into it before I do because I've got another lady. I'm going to do another lady. So she's on the cards. I did go and see her. So I'll try and get. It's not having a very good time of it. Don't know why it's gone like that. Yeah, I'm going to do Janis Joplin next. So, yeah. But I want to thank Jim and the experiences. I hope you can get some insight and maybe have look be able to look at your self. And if you are suffering from mental health or struggling with emotional, like expressing your emotions and that, go and talk to somebody. Don't try to deal with things on your own. Seek some professional help that can help you through that. Um, that's a clear indication, there. We can all get into habits, you know, um, how to deal and manage stuff. So, yeah, be mindful if you're finding you're overindulging in things or being reactive or feeling angry and stuff like that. Find ways to able to express that, whether that's through through music, whether that's through going to the gym, or like I said, talking to someone. Find some healthy resources that can help you get those emotions out in the open. Um, yeah, and you can have a better understanding of yourself, can't you? So I'm going to leave the quote: "The most important kind of freedom is to be what you really are." I'm going to leave that with you, and that was from Jim, by the way. So yeah, much love. Thank you for sticking around. And yeah, sorry it was a bit short and sweet. I don't know what happened there. I don't know what I've done. I thought I had it all planned, all worked out, but no. Right, okay, I'll leave it as that.